Hi, so this is going to be a bit of an experiment to see how this works. You'll know what I'm talking about in a minute if it does. So I've just written a story as I'm thinking about going home. Although I'm not going home, but I'm thinking about going home. And it's called "In Thinking About Home, My Heart Turns to Myff." And so I mentioned in the story about a North Armagh accent. So I'm kind of mixing Swedish House Mafia with a North Armagh accent. Here goes. Can we turn that down a bit? Let's see how this works. So I'd booked the time off, as I've done for the last 7 years, with the intention of returning like the Eels do each year to Loch Ness. The Eels probably kept to their routine, whereas COVID-19 disrupted, as with everyone, my plans. It was Myff's departure from the planet in 2012 that saw my return home for her memorial service. It was in early November. I hadn't been home since my grandfather's funeral in May 2006. I'd become more anxious about what ifs, consequence of which I chose not to fly. But my desire to honour Myff was bigger than my anxiety, so I was on a plane home. I met Myff when I was 15, and in those days we occupied ourselves by drinking pots of tea, smoking bangs, and talking in the many cafes that populated our town. We were in the stairway, as the name suggests, it was upstairs. In them days, and this is where I say you need to think of a North Armagh accent, you'd still smoke while you drank your tea. So there we were, what seemed like 6 or 7 of us, both genders in our school uniforms, either after school or mitching. A few of our crowd had moved into senior high, and one of them had met Myff and invited her to drink tea and smoke vines with us. She had gone to Killickamain, the rival junior high, so she was already different. However, I was not objecting, as her charisma, her height, her good looks, her joie de vivre, then I would have said she's good cracking, forget that French. Now, I don't remember the first time I met everyone, but I do those who have some emotional positive impact on me. Of course, I wasn't to know the impact she would have on me on first meeting, but perhaps at an unconscious level I did. It was like she was someone I always knew but just hadn't met. In time she was to date a good friend of mine, which brought us closer together, and perhaps even closer when that relationship ended, and somehow our friendship made her still feel connected. I didn't mind as she made me feel good just being with her. She definitely developed my listening skills, but then she was easy to look at. High school ended and we all went our own ways, yet something ensured that Myff and I kept in contact. She was ever the traveller, and I would receive every so often a postcard from a faraway place. She met Paul, a New Zealander, and there she made her home. Their wedding in 1999 was for me like a school reunion of sorts. We would write, the occasional call, and then with the advent of Facebook, communications was made easier. Our kid was born, followed by their two, and we were all in the role of trying to raise the next generation, hoping for whatever reason that they wouldn't find themselves smoking binds, by the way, binds or cigarettes, and drinking tea in cafes. And I thought, why not? Why wouldn't we want that? New Zealand provided her, Myff, with the vision she had of life, a part in her kids and becoming part of a community of friends. She beat the cancer once, but the second time it took her body. But her spirit was never for the taking, and so she lives on. Her memorial service 13 years after her wedding, was another school reunion of sorts. We'd all grown older, now in our early 40s, and her death signalled to me the need to meet every so often with those we shaped and were shaped by. So from then on, I've travelled home each year to do exactly that. This year presents its challenges. It doesn't stop me from spending the next few days thinking about home, its people, and where possible, connecting by all means available. And the music, Don't Worry Child, I think was 2012, and was around the time of her death. So, thanks, Myff.